Hi, this is Rick for EDU Mobile Academy. I'm excited today to bring you the first in a series of courses on the Linux shell. In this first course, we're going to talk about shell basics. If you have never used the terminal, then this is the appropriate place to start in your learning about the Linux shell and about the Unix file system in general. So what are we going to talk about in the course? Well, we'll begin with a discussion of how to open the terminal. If you don't have an icon to open a terminal, I will give you that, and we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about all about directories, how to change directories, how to know where you are in the directory structure. Along with that, we'll talk about listing out the contents of a directory, listing files, and so that you can see where you are and what is in any particular directory that you want to peek into. We'll talk about permissions on those files, as well as not only how to understand them, but how to set them in a particular way if you control access to that file. Making and removing directories is very important as you're working with the Linux file system, Unix file system in general. So we'll talk about makedir and remdir, and the fact that when you remove a directory, it must be empty if you use this particular utility, but that you can remove a directory that contains files with another utility, remove, that we'll talk about later. We'll also talk about the star and question mark wildcard characters. In other words, simple wildcarding that you can use to find files and locate them. We'll talk about file operations such as copying files from one place to another, removing files, and also moving files, which also allows you to rename files. We'll then talk about redirection at the command prompt, where you can send the output of a command to a file, or take input from a file, or pipe an output from one executable to another. So that wraps up what we're going to talk about in this course, and then in the future we'll explore further topics on the Linux shell. I hope you join me. Thank you very much.